ho, ho. Welcome to another edition of Midnight Blend. How's everybody doing? Alright, got quite a show for you tonight. Gonna be giving away some stuff in the form of a raffle drawing in which, well, we'll get to that in a minute. Hey, what's up, everybody in the chat? What we got over here? Alan, what's happening, buddy? Good to see you. Michael Jordan.
Is that better?
And Russ, wherever he went. Good to see you. All right, so tonight, as always, hey. Me and Dave are here, obviously. And
what's up, people?
Tonight's guest is Heidi Lea. Is it Leah?
Leah.
Leah. Heidi Lea. You might know her on Twitter as Big Sister over there at All Things Exist. She's always posting all kinds of strange phenomena that she captures on a pretty regular basis, I might add. So yeah, we'll probably show you, we'll be able to play some videos and stuff for you throughout the stream and take a look at some things. We're also going to we've got open lines all night tonight. If anybody wants to call in at any point, whatever you guys want to talk about, this show is definitely, we're just hanging out with you guys tonight. So,
yep.
Whatever direction you guys want to take this show to, ask us your questions in the YouTube chat or call in if you want. And Dave, do you want to go ahead and put the call-in numbers out there?
I sure did already.
All right, there you go. So I think we're using 2 call-in numbers tonight. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little raffle drawing. Raffle giveaway. And so the things we're giving away tonight, for one, is a case of the Got Hemp CBD, full spectrum CBD infused cold pressed coffee. A whole case of it, valued at about $26. And we're also giving away this book that Dave's holding up there. That's Casper Parks' novel, Ages Past. That was actually the first novel that I ever had from Casper Parks. A fantastic book. And so what we're going to do is if you look in the description, I've got a link to our PayPal in there, which is shredhell21@yahoo.com. Listen, I made that account when I was like 12 years old. Don't ask. And so yeah, for every $5 you donate,
sounds cool.
Yeah, for every $5 you send in gets you 1 entry, and you can get as many entries as you want. And so at the end of the night, we'll do a little random number generator, and we'll put all of your entries in. And the first drawing will be for the CBD coffee, and then second place will get Ages Past by Casper Parks. So that's how that's going to work. Hey, Dan James, what's happening? Pat Elfman, good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, I should probably...
Glad you guys can make it.
Yeah, and feel free to call in at any time. You can call in right now, even if you want. And, man, my computer is still deleting all those files, Dave.
Oh, my God. That was hella earlier.
Yeah, man. It's been like 15 hours or something. But,
that's funny, man.
Yeah, so... Big Sis, what's going on? How's your day treating you?
It's been a long day. Glad to be here with you too, though.
Right on. Now,
yeah, it's good to have you on.
Yeah. So how long have you been in this scene, I guess, so to speak? And what first, attracted you to this whole community?
Had a weird sighting on porch-cam. I didn't know what to do, honestly. I don't really do social media. I didn't before this anyway. Just had like a Facebook for my family, but yeah, my husband is on social media. He's like I said, he's a streamer, and he kept trying to say, "You got to show people this. You know, you have to bring this to social media." And I'm like, "Oh God, the flack I'm gonna take." You know what I mean? I don't know if I want to deal with it because I got a full plate of life anyway. So in February of last year is when the what I call the landing showed up on my front porch cam. It's just a little camera. It's one of the cameras that I have, but it's a little camera pointed at the door for packages. And if you guys go to my YouTube, you'll find it. It's the pinned video. It says UFO landing on my street. So I sat on that video just, tearing it apart, looking at every which way, trying to figure out what the hell I was looking at. And finally, I just brought it to Twitter. I was like, what is this, you guys? Is this what I think it is? Because it sure looks like it's a UFO landing on my street.
Yeah, and
So it all started there, and that was February last year. So that's how long I've been around. I have an Instagram and a YouTube. I answer as many questions as I can. But that's definitely actually what spurred me to put two more cameras up. I put two cameras pointed at the sky in the backyard, separate from my security cameras. And yeah, it's been crazy ever since then, pretty much.
wow. So, what kind of cameras are you using for those? Are they GoPros or?
No, they're just little Wi-Fi cameras, plug and play.
Nice.
Yeah, you just plug them in, stick them on your Wi-Fi. They're 1080p indoor-outdoor cameras. I've switched them out 3 times now since last February. The back ones, anyway. The front one that caught the original landing, that I call it, I left. I didn't touch it. I just left it because of it. It's never happened since then or before then, so I just left it alone to see what'll happen. But the back cameras I've switched out quite a few times because we see so many anomalies, whether it's light formations or sounds or actual crafts running through my yard, flying through my yard or over my palm trees, or sometimes things land in my yard. I mean, if you guys have seen my videos, it just goes all over the place. There's orbs. There's orbs that are obviously just intelligent on their own. There's no end to the things that happen out there. I don't know what happened. There's like a rip in time space or something.
Yeah, our friend Jeff Rennell lives out there in Vegas from E-Talk TV. And yeah,
Cool.
he was saying that over the last few months, especially, that a lot of sightings, like the sightings have gone up out there in frequency. And would you say that that's true?
Yeah, for sure. It's not, it's kind of everybody talks about it now like it's pretty normal, where as before, like alien stock last year, remember the raid Area 51 situation, before that happened, it was just something you didn't really, I mean, there's like gift shops that have little aliens and stuff, but it wasn't really something that you talk to people about, like your neighbors and things like that. But I would say definitely it's always on the news. There's strange things on the news all the time. I would definitely agree. There's been a huge uptick in sightings since last year, for sure. I don't
Yeah,
know if that's because we're all more open to it and we're just seeing it now that we didn't see it before and it was there anyway, or we've evolved to the point where we can see these things now. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, yeah. The expectation of it could definitely play a part of it, I think. And
Yeah.
so Pat wants to know from the chat. He wants to know if are you leaving those cameras running all the time, or does it go on
Yep.
when something?
24 hours a day.
So that's got to be quite the task
Yeah.
going through all that footage.
Yeah, and I've told my followers this before. A lot of people want to see some daytime feeds because I catch some weird things on the daytime feeds also. But it's a hell of a job, and it takes a lot of time to go through all the feeds. So on both cameras. So the alert feeds I get from my cloud service are just downloaded immediately to my phone. So that's where I see all of these things that I post. Just right the cloud service right to my phone. I just either maybe I'll crop it or darken it or something so we can see what we're looking at a little better. But that's all I can do to these things. The alerts are right from the cloud service. I can't manipulate them in any way. But yeah, I really should go through the daytime footage more often. But the nighttime footage is usually so full of anomalies that I just go with that so we can really see what we're looking at.
Yeah,
I
you can probably
find,
see it at night.
go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just
Yeah,
saying you
you
could
see a
probably see
lot
it
at night. Did you guys see the last video a couple days ago that I posted? Some weird thing flying around my trees,
We're talking about that.
carrying something else. Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and play that one. What's the title of that one?
Let me look real quick.
I think it's like is this a bird or
Oh, you know what? Did I even put it on my YouTube?
No,
See,
that's
I'm terrible at the social media thing. I'm really trying, you guys.
Well, even if it's not
Twitter
on YouTube.
takes a lot out of me. But I try to keep up with the YouTube. Let me just see if
Let's see. I think I found it.
if it's on there. If it's not, I'll put it on there right now.
Well, the cool thing is you actually have your videos on your Twitter feed.
Yeah, it's the first one 2 days ago on my Twitter. It's called Bird. It starts with Bird.
All right. Yeah, I found.
Yeah, that's the one.
All right. So let's put that up here. Let's see.
Now keep in mind, you know, I see a lot of bugs and birds and airplanes and stuff like that, but I don't post any of that stuff. I post it if it's questionable, you know, if it's weird or I can't figure out what it is. I'll post it in hopes that someone will know what it is. You know.
Yeah.
It's not a bird. Hawks don't fly at night, you know.
Right.
If it's a bug, it's a giant Mothra-sized bug. It has a face if you zoom in on it. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I'll have to. And let's see.
I don't know what goes on out there, you guys, because I'm out there every day and I don't see nothing.
Okay,
but my cameras see everything.
That's cool.
Right. And okay, so I got the video here. Let me see if it's why is it not playing on my phone? That's interesting.
Interesting stats coming in from Dan James, by the way. He mentions it's true last year reported sightings in the US jumped 6,000 from the previous year. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, well, the Tic Tac sightings came out, so the Navy kind of made it okay for everybody to talk about this stuff, you know? So either we're seeing it more or we're just talking about it more, you know? Because I'll tell you what, in the things I've seen in my life, I haven't reported it to anybody, you know? I mean, in the beginning, I was like tagging SETI and NASA and Nellis and MUFON and everybody I could to see if someone knew. I mean, I didn't really think I'd get any answers, I'll be honest with you, but I was hoping for some kind of something. You know, if you're going to tell me it's a drone, show me the drone. Just show me a picture of the drone, you know, and then I will totally be on board, you know, but nobody has. Nobody has shown me a drone or any kind of skunkworks projects or anything that is matching up to what shows up on my cameras. So the question still remains. So I'll just keep posting until maybe we find out something. I was invited to the last MUFON meeting. I'm supposed to go to the one next week also, but I can't make it. But I was talking with a few folks there and they wanted to set up there's a couple physicists there and they wanted to set up some like monitors and sensors in my backyard, like EMF and thermal and things like that. We're still working all the details out, but that might be interesting. And somebody also suggested that I should probably be read as well.
Yeah,
like my
definitely.
EMF and my thermal and my, because this isn't happening to anybody else. This is happening to me and a lady in New York and some guy in, I think, Australia. And as far as I know, it's like we have super highways in our yard that, we're just living our lives here. And there's some, crazy dimensional rifting going on or something, portals. I don't know. I don't know what I have. I don't know. I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know.
it's interesting that you brought up the fact about the Tic Tac UFOs. That happened in 2004, and people are
Yeah.
still talking about it. And it's almost like it just happened the other day. I mean, people are still talking about these Tic Tac UFOs.
It's because that's all that's in the media. That's all they're keeping in the media. You know what I mean? The whole TTSA thing, that's really what they're focusing on is, haha, look, the Navy said it. These Air Force pilots said it. And kind of just giving us, that's it. That's all we get to go on, and um fortunately for us, we have a pretty international open forum to reach each other as experiencers and things like that, to where we can find, greater understanding between us instead of waiting for the government or Hollywood or some Scientology bullshit funded thing to, tell us what the truth is. A lot of us already know.
Right.
We just like to share it with everybody else. You know what I mean? It's not, we're not waiting for validation, that's for sure. I can't, I don't make any claims on my videos because I don't know what they are. I'm clairvoyant, and I've been doing readings my whole life, but I find all I feel from any of it is a higher intelligence. I feel nothing else. It's something totally beyond me. It's just uh it's like mass amount of packed energy in a small space, and we're like catching glimpses of it. But I think it's only because of the camera's capabilities. Obviously, I can't see it while I'm out there.
Well,
Um,
the veil's definitely thinned out quite a bit.
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to move this summer, you guys. I'm going to move across town, and we'll see if the phenomena follows me, or if it's just in this spot.
You mentioned MUFON, and did you get any information in the area that you're living that MUFON's been studying or recording? Like, is
Yeah,
there?
I have heard quite a bit of study about and history about Black Mountain, which is the area that I live in Vegas. It's all volcanic. It's an ancient volcano, and they've had sightings for clear back since, the Native Americans and things like that. They've had sightings in this area. But it's odd. I've actually driven to a spot where I felt these things were coming out of, because I actually live on the mountain. So, aircraft can't come up here without, crashing. So, I actually drove to the spot that I thought it was coming from. Kind of drove around a little bit. And I'm telling you guys, this is all new building up here. This is this is all newly built stuff. So anything that's, it looks like it's taking off from the mountain itself, it could have been here all this time, but with all this, these new houses and stuff being built up here and people moving their way up onto the mountain so that they can see Vegas from far, far away, like me.
Right.
um, it's pretty that's all you hear about now. It's all anybody talks about in Vegas now. Aliens. The next alien talk is already being planned. All of the events are here. MUFON's going to have their 50th year symposium here in July. I think I might help them like work the booth or something.
Right on.
But
That could be the new
yeah,
contact in the desert.
maybe. Yeah, I'll check them out for a while and see. They do want field investigators and stuff like that, but I kind of figure I already am one. You know, Here's the footage. Do with it what you will. Let's put up sensors. Let's do it. You know, I'm
Yeah.
in.
There you go. And yeah, and Dan is saying in the chat that Stanton Freeman used to do a show of hands at his conferences over the years, and he came to the conclusion that less than 10% of people who witness a UFO actually report it.
Yeah, I couldn't, you know, I couldn't imagine. I'm from Montana originally, and I can't imagine reporting the sightings that I had and the experiences I had to anybody there. Oh my God, no. Are you kidding me? Yeah, no. No. In fact, I didn't talk about any of this until, you know, except with people that I know or my clients or whatever. But yeah, I was never public about my experiences and stuff like that. But when I came to social media, it was just so open. Everybody's like, I've had this experience, and they'd send me their footage of something, or what do you think about this? And then you just, as you hang out, you just get to know lots of people and all their different experiences. And Candy King,
Oh, yeah.
dang, that's old school.
Alan was wondering what flavor I was vaping, so there you go. But yeah, it tastes like a dank-ass snow cone, basically. And yeah, it's dangerously delicious. I can't stop hitting it. But yeah, I'm very high right now, ladies and gentlemen, by the way.
But yeah, I tell you guys, at that MUFON meeting, there were so many different stories of absolutely mind-blowing phenomena. It's everybody's got something different to tell, you know?
Yeah,
And
have you ever had well, first of all, what was your very first, like, not including cameras or anything, just your very first UFO sighting ever?
oh yeah, well, it was a big one. I've told the story a couple times, but I'll tell you guys. Um, my mom was a partier, right? I'm about 9 years old. She's having a party at night. I live in Montana next to, you know, the big mountain range there. And so I snuck out the back door. I just got this big pink bouncy ball, you know, one of those giant ones you can barely carry when you're a kid, from the store that day. So I took that and I went down the alley. I came out on the street. It was like, you know, midnight-ish, 12:30, something like that. Party's raging. I can't sleep. So I just jet out the back door with my ball. And I'm bouncing it down the street. You know, it's black as night because it's Montana. You know, there's no neon or nothing. And I'm right next to the mountain ridge, and I just was bouncing my ball down the street for a few minutes, and I looked up to my left, and there's this giant, like round black craft with red lights all the way around it, and it was right up next to the mountain. Like, it was laying like this, but it wasn't touching the mountain, and it was as big as, like, it's a mountain, you know, it's huge, and it's just sat there. And so I'm sitting there staring at him, holding my ball in my arm, and with my other arm, I was going to go wave at it. You know, I'm a little girl. I'm going to wave it, whatever, you know. Right. And something held my arm down very, very strongly, held my arm down until I decided not to wave at it. Basically, it was like, no, you're not going to wave at it. I don't know what that's all about. But so anyways, so I started bouncing my ball again. And keep in mind, I had weird experiences my whole life already up to this point, so I wasn't really shocked or anything. Right. And so it just here it was, and then it just kind of lifted like this and went like this, and it was gone. No sound, no whooshing of trees, no nothing. And then so the interesting thing about that particular story is how it ends, is because about 3 years later, there's a statue of the Holy Mother called Our Lady of the Rockies erected in that very spot where it was, the very same spot where it was. And she's there today. She's the second largest statue in the U.S. So if you look up Butte, Montana, and you'll see Lady of the Rockies, that's her. And she was built there right in the spot where that UFO was.
Wow.
And so that's my first UFO story. That's the first one I ever saw up close and personal like that, you know. People have asked me if I've been abducted or anything like that. I don't think so. Can't tell you for sure, but you know, I don't think so. I don't think that's my role in all this. I think I'm more of a just a bringer of information instead of, you know, I'm not trying to preach anything. I'm just here to be like, look, here it is. What? You know?
You don't think that perhaps you may have been abducted at some time?
I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, maybe. Who knows? My family has all kinds of crazy stories. We all have something weird going on. Some kind of second side of weirdness. But that's a good question. Some people have actually asked me if I want to, you know, to communicate with them and go see what the hell they want. And I'm like, no. No, I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm not going to say, "Hey, what's up?" You know, from that one time that my arm was held down at waving to them. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to go out there and wave to them and say, "Hey, what's up?" You know, they obviously know me.
Yeah, I used to go out there and wave to him, like, "Take me, come on." Let me see what's
I
going
mean,
on.
you know, I think we all want to say that, but if you talk to some experiencers, they'll be like, "Nah, you don't want that." I told I was telling someone the other day, I was like, "Dude, I don't want to be probed. I don't no. I'll just show the videos and just keep doing my thing."
Yeah, I could definitely do without the probing part, but oh, and by the way, folks, if you're in
GG, I think you want a probing.
Yeah, well,
Oh, jeez.
it depends. It depends on the scenario.
The circumstances.
Depends on the
GG
circumstances.
sounds excited about probing. I'm just saying.
Now, and speaking of which, actually, now if you're in the chat room in YouTube, you want to make sure to switch to live chat, because by default it has you in top chat, and it censors some of the comments. For example, Sean's comment where he says Gigi loves the pussy. You can't see that unless you're in live chat, folks. So make sure to switch to live chat. I wish there was a way to turn off top chat, but YouTube is kind of assy, so you can't.
By the way, for the audio, Gigi was holding up a kitten earlier, so I don't know if that was.
So y'all know, there was a cat on screen. Just so you know.
Right.
Because I'm also doing this for the podcast.
Oh yeah,
so.
there is an audio one out there somewhere too. So yeah, yeah. If you're just listening, you might want to catch the YouTube one if you want to see all the fun stuff. And
oh, absolutely. That's definitely what you want to do.
yeah, and also, and by the way, folks, once again, the phone lines are open, and I'll repost those in the YouTube chat here. Now, for those of you that aren't in the chat or can't see it, we've got two call-in numbers tonight. The first one is 661-772-7825. Again, that's 661-772-7825. And the other one is 415-891-9081. And although I just said later in the show, you can call in anytime. Just anytime you guys want to call in, and even if you can stay on and hang out with us for a while if you want to. Whatever you want to do. This is your show just as much as ours. So, yeah, feel free to call in, and also feel free to get your questions in to the chat. And Sean has a good comment here. He says, if you want to see UFOs, smoke some DMT. Bongst. However you pronounce that. But, yeah, I agree. If you can manage to keep your eyes open, then, yeah, you'll probably.
Gotta jump in real quick, Gigi. Unfortunately, that last number on the 415 number is 415-891-9083.
Okay. Okay.
83. So sorry, y'all, if you guys were trying to call earlier, just keep calling. We'll pick up. But
all right, I'll fix that right now. Boom, boom,
yeah,
boom.
so it's 1-415-891-9083.
There you go.
Gigi, did you find that video of the flying thing?
Oh yeah, I was playing it earlier while you were talking. We showed that. And yeah, I really do wonder what the hell that was.
I think it's a fairy.
I thought immediately a fairy. I was like, that isn't moving right. It's not moving. That it moves like a hummingbird, but it's too big. It's way too big to be a hummingbird, and it's carrying something. So that's what I thought. I've seen fae before in the Montana mountains a couple times, usually by streams and stuff at night, but not anything like that on my cameras ever.
Do they usually have wings like that?
Mm-hmm. They're like hummingbird wings. You can't really see them move. They move so fast.
Right.
But
Okay.
a little bit iridescent in the moonlight. You know what I mean? They move so fast. But the ones I saw were like little blue, uh, lights with the iridescent wings, and they were by a little creek. And I saw one up in Elk Park, up back by our family's cabin. There was a little like gathering of some kind of light beings with wings. Um, and they were like more like greenish, but they were far enough away to where I couldn't like see faces or limbs or anything like that. The wings showed up in the light.
Okay.
But with that thing that I posted a couple days ago, yeah, I haven't seen anything like that. I've seen a couple things on my cameras that look like fairies, but nothing as close to it as that one that I caught the other day. And they're like, oh, it's a bird. Oh, it's a bird of prey. It's like, well, one, hawks don't fly at night. Two, owls are the only things we have around here, and they're huge owls. And like I said, somebody said fireflies, and it's like, well, I've been here 5 years. I've never seen a firefly, so I wouldn't know. But whatever it was, it's about as big as your hand if you look at it, and
Big.
thin. It's thin so it's not like a bird body. It's thin, and it's carrying something, and it flies very strangely. So, and then somebody said that maybe someone was flying their cheap little drone, and I was like, maybe. I got nothing, man. I got nothing. It's something different every single day. So I can only imagine what we're throwing rocks at here.
Right.
I think we should go back to the video page, and there's one video I wanted to talk to you about, Heidi.
Okay. Which one is it?
It looked like I want to say it was the. Oh man, there's a lot on here. It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
I got a videos. It's been a while. I had started that YouTube probably a few months after I got on Twitter. There's probably maybe like 100 videos on there.
Yeah, there was one really good one we were watching before the show. I can't remember which one it was. Remember that one, Dave, where it went like behind we couldn't tell if it was behind the trees or in the trees for a second there?
Yeah. There's a lot that they seem like they come from behind the trees, and like there's one there's a really good one there. Geez, you should check out the UFOs in Vegas.
Okay. And right now we're checking out the near crash and flash of light above Las Vegas, where these two almost seemingly just barely almost graze each other there.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'd never seen them get that close before. And then the big flash above them. I don't. That
Then
yeah,
here's
those big,
UFOs in Vegas.
just giant flashes of light in the sky. They kind of concern me, to be honest with you, because a lot of them are right over McCarran Airport, and it's an international airport. And a lot of these just flashes I see are right above aircraft or right below aircraft. It's like, well, when I fly out of there, so what are we dealing with? Is it dangerous? Is it? I don't know. If somebody knows, I think we have a right who we're sharing airspace with. It's not like we can put on the brakes in the middle of the air.
Yeah, and yeah, so there's a couple in this one, the UFOs in Vegas.
It's at the link to you in
Yeah.
Skype?
Yeah, I got
That
that
one
pulled
you
up
were
right here.
looking
There
at,
it
Dave.
is.
Yeah.
If you go to the end of that video, you'll see that the flash above both of those aircraft. There's no reason there should be a light flash above those aircraft.
Right.
That's true.
Let's see. Yeah, interesting.
That thing is just making a beeline. It's just
Yeah,
straight.
you'll see in a lot of those videos these crafts that come like out of the mountain. The only thing that's over this mountain is a big solar panel farm, and a national forest. So, and I'm on the mountain, so these things look they're taking off like out of the mountain. I don't, it just the distance and the speed and everything. It looks like they're very close by. But they always make a beeline right for Vegas.
Oh, very interesting.
I used to think, well, maybe Amazon is trying out their drone delivery or, something like that. But I did all the research and that's just not happening, so
They may
that's
not
what I
either.
do is research before I'm going to release something, to be talked about publicly, I'm going to do my due diligence and research it as much as I can to know as much as I can about it, or whatever I can find out anyway.
Remember,
Yeah,
guys,
all of
phone
these
numbers.
things seem to make a beeline either right back into the mountain or directly to Vegas. It's kind of scary. Where are they
It
going?
is.
No. What are they doing? Who are they going to meet with? What's in there? I have so many questions.
Yeah. I mean, we'd love to get some answers. If anybody has any answers, you can call in on the phone line 1415-891-9083. Again, that number is 1415-891-9083, or you can call 1-611-661-772-7825. That number again is 1-661-772-7825. Both those numbers will get either me or Gigi. It'll get both of us, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, give us a call.
And Russ Bailey says fairies wear boots, and I say, fuck yeah, rock on, dude.
Right on.
Black
Yeah.
Sabbath.
Ozzy's the shit.
Dude, especially the the original Black Sabbath from like 68
Yeah.
to 72, man. Those
Yeah.
albums.
That's the real soul stuff.
So now with your go ahead, Dave.
No, go ahead, Gigi. I think we were going to ask the same question.
Maybe we'll see. So with your with your psychic abilities, if you will, do you have any sort of insight on, where some of these ETs might be coming from? Like specifically, like which planets or which solar systems are they coming from? Do they live inside the Earth? Like, do you have any insight into that?
This is my honest to God feeling about all of that, is that it's just right here with us. It's just right here all around us. I really think we share space with a lot of things we can't see. And I really think that our desire to see and our desire to evolve and know and be more than what we are as human beings, I really think that we're kind of in the throes of that right now at this time in history. And I think it's kind of just activated all of us to, open our eyes more, be more open to things. I really think it's just right here with us. I've always felt that way in all my experiences. It was there anyway. It's just that I happen to come across it or have an experience with something. But I think that's it. I think it's right here with us. I don't think it's gone anywhere. I think that the energy is so packed around us that we're almost lucky that we can't see everything that's around us. And, I want to mention too, all of the, the recent, I want to say like high ghost shows and investigators and new shows and things like that. I really think um, we're putting a lot of energy, different types of energy in situations, amplifying, EMF meters, K2 meters, and whatever. We're amplifying energy and stirring up, we're picking out particular energies and stirring them up, so that is going to ramp energy. And I think that there's so much of it now, so many people investigating with so much different kinds of equipment, and just really so many of them, that it's really helping to amplify the phenomena for everyone. I think is putting more types of energy into the air for everyone, and the mass amounts of investigators that we have now, and using all these different kinds of equipment to do that with, I really think is kind of amping up the energy in the air, no matter where you go, really. And I just really think that we're starting to match vibrations with certain things that we just never did before. I think we're evolving too fast.
Yeah, maybe. And
Fast.
and I've been saying lately, Dave, did you turn your camera off or?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, we got you back now.
Yeah,
So
sorry about that. I thought I put that in there. I'll be right back. Sorry.
okay. Oh yeah, I didn't see that. But yeah, so I was saying, I rewatched that. I don't know if you've seen it, Heidi, but the Hunt for the Skinwalker, Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp's documentary they did about Skinwalker Ranch. And so they're talking about Robert Bigelow and all the countless funds that they spent over the last 2 decades, all the research they did. The same phenomenon never happened twice. It was really frustrating for them. And one thing that I've really been thinking lately is, now there's definitely UFO sightings there, and they keep trying to attribute, they're trying to attribute this phenomena to the UFOs, like some of the really weird, bizarre, sketchy stuff that goes on over there. And I have a feeling that a lot, maybe not all of it, but I think some of that phenomena is actually something, it's a product of the Earth itself. I think there's something inherently strange about the Earth itself, and I think that is what is attracting the UFOs to that spot. I feel like they are trying to figure out what the fuck is going on in this place too, just like we are. And that might be why they're not able, like in George Knapp's words, he was like, we weren't able to link an iota of anything to the UFOs. We know that these phenomena happens here, and we know that these UFOs are here, but we cannot link the two. And I have a feeling that that's why. I think that there's something inherently bizarre and strange. I think the Earth is a lot more, the reality of what this planet is a lot more complex than I think we've come to understand it so far.
That's a really unique point of view, actually. I saw an orb go across your face, by the way. But I recently was talking to someone who is very convinced about the Middle Earth theory, and he made a lot of good points. What we were talking about was missing 411. We were talking about that, and
I would say the same.
There was a map made available. Yeah, right. There was a map made available of our cave system here in the U.S. and the missing persons index, and it was almost identical. Like the show Hellier, where they investigate the caves and things like that. Like maybe that's where Bigfoot lives, or maybe that's how you get to center Earth, or this, that, and whatever. But it's food for thought, because all of those missing people and all of the cave systems are almost identical. That cannot be coincidence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all of the disappearances over the ocean and this and that. I can't completely honestly dismiss the Middle Earth theory. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You go down far enough and you hit, lava. Go further than the lava, you know? I don't know. There's something to that. There's something to that. I've been doing a lot of reading lately because, since I've been here, I'm inadvertently involved in the UFO community now. And I've just been trying to learn all I can learn. Um, I can pretty much see through bullshit. And that's one of the gifts I have in my life, so
Good one.
I've been reading a lot of good stuff and getting a lot of good information that I really never would have considered before. And that's one of them. I'm not saying I believe, I'm saying that it's possible.
Yeah.
I'm
And
saying I got some more research to do before, I can say whether I believe it or not, but it's a really, honestly, it's a pretty logical theory.
indeed, yeah, I think so.
You
And
know, so I have a hard time arguing with logic, you know.
yeah, and now, so Russ Bailey in the chat is saying that he says if you think Skinwalker Ranch is bizarre, Google Stardust Ranch in Arizona. I've never heard of Stardust Ranch. Have you?
No,
Yeah. What about you,
no.
Dave?
So I've heard of Stardust Ranch.
Tell you though, well, you're in Arizona. Arizona to me is creepy.
Yeah, and man, I'll tell you what.
I'm sorry, GD, but it creeps
Yeah.
me out. Every time I drive through Arizona, it's too damn quiet. It's I don't know. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
lonely.
Well, and
It's
Sedona.
lonely and quiet in the Arizona desert. It's different than Nevada desert. It changes as soon as you get into Arizona.
It really does. Yeah, there's definitely
Mhm.
Arizona's got its own unique vibe going on, and
It really
especially
does.
when you
Yeah,
go to
it's really
Sedona.
different.
When you go to Sedona, there's a so our friend John Polk, Rev John Polk, he does his show, The Quantum Hologram Matrix, on the Fringe FM.
Oh yeah.
Now he actually does UFO tours out there in Sedona, and Sedona, it's directly on an intersection of magnetic ley lines, which
Hmm.
like it's a UFO hotspot, and I've been out there on some of those tours, and there is some shit out there. Like I don't care who
Yeah.
the fuck you are, like you go out there, and John is like he's like a magnet for that shit. Even when anytime I hang out with him, if we actually go outside and spend a couple hours just looking up, like I always see some shit with John, even without the night vision goggles. He's really got yeah. There's something to
That's
that.
cool.
But
Wow.
and what's interesting is some Tibetan Buddhists, according to some aspects of Tibetan Buddhism, they believe, and also the ancient India, the Vedas also describe this exact situation as well. They both have their different concepts of Shambhala, and they both, which I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of Shambhala or what that
Evan?
is, but yeah, some people consider it. Some people consider it more of an idea. Some people consider it heaven. Like different Tibetans and Indians have different views on it. But one point of view is that it actually is a physical place on the earth that is only really visible and accessible to people who are resonating on a high enough frequency to observe it, and that it's basically a spiritual capital of the world where they constantly send prayer energy out into the world from. It's a very high spiritual center, and apparently it moves every 75,000 years or so, or every couple 100,000 years, something like that. And both of these cultures specifically talk about the region of desert that where Sedona is. They say that once upon a time, about 250,000 years ago, that Shambhala was located right there.
Wow. Well, that's kind of what we were talking about before is, with this, I really feel it's probably dimensional because I just don't have any other kind of logical answer to why so many different kind of phenomenon and so many different I mean, look at some of those videos. Some of them are happening right on the That is not possible. Sorry. but it's not possible, you know. And I think sometimes there's a couple of them. There's this one night where it was going crazy out there. There was light formations and boom sounds and sonic booms and all kinds of just it's they're in my videos on YouTube somewhere, but
Yeah, let's find some more of those.
what if I was standing right there? What if I was standing right in front of that thing, this giant light, you know, this solid light formation and this makes sound, you know, what if I was standing right there? Would I have even seen it? I don't think so, because I'm out there all the time and I'm always looking around, I'm always listening. Sometimes I go out there and meditate, you know, whatever, and nothing. Nothing.
That's crazy.
It's kind of maddening. It's like, why are you showing me all this, but you won't, you know, just come to me, you know? But apparently this is how they're coming to me and all of us. And I've been lucky to make a lot of friends here and get to know a lot of people who've had a lot of different experiences. Um, and I've also had a graphic artist take apart my video. Had videos. Nobody has an answer. No answer. You know.
Yeah, and
Nobody even has a clue about what to say about it. I don't either. All I can say is there it is. There's obviously a vast universe happening in my backyard. You know, different things are going on out there. So is it one universe or is it many? What are we looking at here? You know, are we looking at time glitches? Are we looking at energy pulses? Are we looking at thought forms? Are we looking at what the fuck are we looking at? You know, I never gotten one straight answer from anybody from anywhere because there just simply isn't one. You know, there just isn't one. And all I can say about it is, look, we're part of it all. This is something I've known all my life, and I will tell anyone who will listen, you're a part of everything. Every cell, every atom in your being has been all over the galaxy already. How do you think you're not you are fucking superhuman. You really are. Mm-hmm. You know? So, like I said, these things don't really surprise me. I mean, they're fabulous and fantastic and exciting. And where we go from here, I do not know. What are we gonna see tomorrow? The fuck?
Heidi, I have a question for you, Heidi. So, are you near any bodies of water?
No.
Like rivers or swamps or anything like that?
No, I'm totally right up on the face of the mountain. There's no water around me at all. I'm I'm on the other side of town from Nellis. So I don't get any of that traffic. It doesn't even show up on my camera. Sometimes I'm on the second camera, it'll show some things flying around out there or some flashes of light flying around out there by Nellis. I'm not near any airports or water or anything. I'm just on this big old ancient volcano mountain. And I think there's maybe stuff in the mountain.
Okay, hang on one second. Did you say that that's a volcano?
Yeah, it's an ancient volcano, Black Mountain. It's an
ancient
volcano
right
that I live
there.
on. Yeah, I mean, so what's in there? Who's in there? What are they doing?
I've heard of lots of UFO activity around volcanoes for sure.
Yeah. So, and I'm actually, when I'm from Butte, Montana, and where that sighting that I had happened, is actually an ancient volcano also. That's the center of the town, is an ancient volcano.
There you go.
And so some people in the audience are wondering, I guess they missed earlier, but so where are you located exactly, and where are all these videos coming? And by the way, I'm playing a lot of your videos in the background as we're talking here.
Oh, right on. Yeah, in Las Vegas, in the Black Mountain area. So I'm uh, towards, if you're in Vegas, I'm towards Arizona, up on the mountain, up in the mountains on your way out of town, like almost out to Boulder City,
And
almost out there.
and speaking
Yeah.
of the Black Mountains, Michael Jordan wants to know if there's granite in those mountains.
I don't know. I can find out. I'm sure.
But and yeah, that would be interesting because yeah, granite does have
Let me write that down so I don't forget to do that.
granite is comprised of
point.
quartz crystals, and
Yeah.
a lot of hot spots you typically find that there's big layers of quartz in the ground, like in like Joshua Tree, for example. There's massive layers of quartz all underneath that area, and
That area freaks me out as well. I don't like it.
I love Joshua
Me
Tree.
too.
Joshua Tree, when you're on your way when you're coming from LA to Vegas and you have to go through like what, 40, 50 miles of Joshua Tree only? Yeah, that creeps me out, man.
Yeah, well,
It's creepy.
it is creepy,
I can only
but
imagine being out there at night,
it is
with all that amplified.
it is creepy, but I like that kind of creepy. I like that Joshua Tree vibe. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of knew that about you, Gigi.
I will take that as a compliment. Right or wrong.
I see it as a compliment for sure.
Definitely.
And,
I'll tell you what, I've actually experienced missing time when we were all out. I contacted the desert, Gigi, and I remember Les and I left with Javier and someone else. I can't remember his name, but we went to go drop them off, and I'm not kidding. It should have only been like a 5-minute drive, which it was, but when we dropped them off, it seemed like we were there for maybe 15 minutes, just talking, and then next when we get back to the Fader house, it was like 2 hours passed.
So all of you had the missing time?
dude, I've got
All 4 of us.
Yeah, and yeah, I remember you guys saying something about that. And
It was
Do you
weird.
remember any kind of being tired or feeling like you've been sleeping, or any pains or something anywhere?
No, not really. The only thing, I mean, we were all were all pretty much partying. It was just a big party over there, but it still that shouldn't have made a difference. We knew what time we left that place, got to their place, dropped them off, talked for a minute, and then next thing you know, we're back over at the place we're staying at, and it is like at least an hour and a half at least, in 2 hours maybe.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was.
See,
really
that's what I mean.
weird.
I can't. Part of me wants to say that this is a time situation, because time is made up by us. We had to make up time to tell us when to plant crops and shit like that. But as far as existing, I don't know. I don't know if that time is a continuum. I can't honestly say that I 100% believe that. I think time is man-made.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a man-made concept. It's the universe doesn't necessarily abide by time. That's something that we devised to to not be late to work, basically.
Right. But the thing is where were you? Was your time just slowed down so incredibly slow that that's what happened? Or
that's what it seems like.
Did you go somewhere? You know what I mean? Were you gone? That's kind of crazy, dude. I don't know, if I experienced missing time, I might be kind of pissed. I have to call on my archangels and shit and be like, we got to take care of this shit. I ain't having it.
Crazy
There will be no
stuff.
probing.
And man, I had a really crazy missing time experience when I was living in Austin, Texas. Now, this is a trippy ass story. So I'm leaving downtown Austin. I remember specifically it was 1:38 in the morning when I left. And I don't know why I remember that number. I'm like kind of weird with numbers like that. And so I hit the highway. I hit the I-35, which, if anybody's familiar with Austin, that's like the 405 in Los Angeles, how it's always just fucking traffic.
Ew.
Like, yeah, it's like that. It's like the 405 of Austin, Texas,
I don't miss
basically.
that.
So I get on the highway, and the first thing I notice is there are no cars on the highway going either way, which is impossible. Like, I've never seen that before since, like, literally no one on the highway. Like, that's weird. And then I see an extremely bright light coming from behind me. Like, it looked like an 18-wheeler, like 4 18-wheelers all turned on their brights at the same time. It was blinding. I couldn't see what was back there, but it looked like I was about to get hit by a car or something. I kind of like freaked out for a second. And then next thing I know, like literally next thing I know, I am in the middle of my apartment complex parking lot, in the middle of making a turning into my parking spot, which, by the way, my apartment was at max 20-minute drive away if there's traffic, usually like 10 or 15-minute drive. And so I left at 1:38, and when I pull into my parking spot, I look at the clock, and it's 4:22 in the morning, like about 3 hours later. And you know what's crazy is, if I wouldn't have looked at the clock, if I would have just gone upstairs and did my thing and went to bed, I would have never noticed anything. Like, I didn't notice anything at the time, but after I looked at the time, I was like, what the fuck? I thought maybe my clock was wrong. And so I checked my phone, I checked my computer, like,
Holy
what the
shit.
fuck? It's 4:22. And then when I started thinking about it, I tried to remember, like, what happened. And then sure enough, like, I have zero memory from being in the middle of the highway to being in the middle of my apartment complex parking lot, which in order to do that, I would have had to exit, go down, take the light, take another light, make a U-turn, come in, enter the gate code, go through the gate, and then be at that turn where I was at. I have zero recollection of that whatsoever. And the other trippy part is, so I'm looking at the clock in my car, the mileage on my car reads 138,138. And I had left downtown at 1:38, and whatever mathematical symbology that represents, I don't know. But
Oh man.
and that was just one of the scariest, like I'm not in control of my life kind of feeling. Like, what the
Holy
fuck?
shit, dude.
Yeah, that was
Holy
insane.
shit. Do you have PTSD?
And, dude, I mean, it's
that's
a very
scary, man.
I don't know how to
That's
explain it, but it was very
I know a girl who's been
unsettling feeling.
an abductee her whole life, and I don't know how she functions. You know, she barely functions, but I mean, I just can't imagine the horror stories. I mean, you guys are lucky you just missed some time and you don't remember what happened. But that's another thing. What the fuck? Why are people disappearing? Why? You know, are we getting trapped in some kind of time thing, or, where we went somewhere else, or we just slowed down, or we disappeared completely and now we're back? That's
Yeah.
I just don't know why. Why?
Yeah.
I think that we're in
You
some
know?
kind of time loop.
And well, hey, real quick, we've got a caller on the line.
Nice.
Area code 814. Who art thou?
Hello.
Is this Alan?
Yes, it is.
Hey, what's happening,
How
bro?
you
Hey,
doing?
Alan. How's it
I'm
going?
doing
Hi,
good,
Alan.
man. How are you?
We're
Hi.
doing all right. Doing all right. So I guess you got that book, huh?
Came in the mail today, man. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. I'm excited for you to read it. You are going to love
I know. I'm excited for me. Thank you. I read like the first 2 or 3 pages, and I know I'm going to like it.
it. All right.
I know I'm going to love it.
Hell yeah.
Anyway,
good deal.
listen, I had a question for the young lady there. I forget her name. What is it?
Heidi
Lisa?
Lea.
Heidi.
Yeah.
Was that her name?
Yes,
Indeed
sir.
it is.
Yes,
You're
sir.
breaking up. I'm sorry. I'm in an apartment building, second floor, and in the bathroom talking, so you're breaking up a little bit. Anyway, when I first moved here to Oregon, I was up north of here in Glendale. I was there about a month. And I'm laying in bed, and I just got this overwhelming sense that I was being watched, that there was somebody in the damn room watching me. And it overwhelmed me to the point to where I said, fuck this, excuse my language. I grabbed my camera, I put it on night vision or night shot, and I just started taking random pictures around the room. Well, the very first picture I pulled up had a full-blown manifesting E.T. in the picture right at the foot of my bed. You can see the blanket up over my knees is cutting his light across his lower abdomen, but then from my knees on up, it's just chest, arms, neck, and head manifesting right then and there. And I'm sure Gigi and I'm sure Dave and Jason Quinn and Braddles, they've all seen this picture and they're just like amazed. And my question is, have you ever had any visitations like that in your home to where you felt like you had just received like a shitload of knowledge, a download that would just blow your mind?
Good question.
It was heavy duty. It rocked my world.
Unfortunately, I would like to say that I would like to be selected to have a download like that. However, the downloads that I've heard of, they're pretty terrifying. Was it scary for you, Alan? Was it invasive?
I'm put it this way, an ordained minister of Pentecostal back in '84, and I know the book of Revelations like the back of my hand. And that scared the living crap out of me. You know what I'm saying? But I've since moved on from the works of man to the works of the Creator in the law of one. And I have recently, within the past 6 or 7 years, found out my heritage, my past lives and all that, and my soul family is the soul family of Ra. I'm a wanderer. I had a near-death experience at 14 months old. I was dead for 20 minutes. And when I was there, they said, do you want to come back? I said, well, yeah, I want to go back. And they said, well, if you go back, you're going to be in service to others the rest of your life. I said, that's fine. So that's what I've been doing. But the thing about this is I've got an implant in my left hand in the webbing between thumb and index finger. I got when I was about 13 years old, way up in Canada in the Algonquin, near Jason Quick's place, actually. Late at night, I was picked up by a craft. I've got an implant. Couple visitations in Detroit, one in San Antonio, Texas, when I was in the military. Now I saw this 100-foot wide saucer-shaped craft 50 feet over my head. That was in '72. But this last one here, up here in Glendale, where they actually manifested right in my bedroom, I mean, that blew me away. For the past 5 years, I've been taking pictures of them over my house. And I'm sure that Dave has seen them. I know Gigi's seen a few of them. And I've got craft, I've got extra dimensionals, I've got it all. I've got ribbons of light shooting across the camera screen. I mean, it's like they picked me to disclose their presence. And then all of a sudden, I get this guy visiting me in my bedroom, and he looks like an even to me. But anyway, and then I get this major download that, yes, it's not going to happen this year, not 2020, but next year it's coming. This year is going to be a wake-up year for a lot of people.
I feel
and they're either going to get ready or they're not going to get ready. I mean, it's scary what's coming. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Well,
scary.
Alan, you must have a very high vibrational, you must be a very high vibrational being for them to contact you the way they do.
Well, I'm a dual density being because of my death. When I died, I had pneumonia, fever of 108.8 for 2 days, and it fried my brain. And by the time my mother got me to South Virginia Force Base Hospital, in Detroit, or outside of Detroit. I had gone into convulsions and died. Well, the doctor said to my mom, if he survives, he's going to be a vegetable because that fever just fried his brain. Well, they brought me to in a tub of ice water, and I come to perfectly lucid and with an IQ of 147, which is 1 point over Albert Einstein. And to the best of my knowledge, I have been protected all of my life. I've been shot at. I've had 3 cars shot, just riddled with bullets right out from under me. I mean, every window in them blown. Never a scratch on me. Vietnam, you name it, I've been there, I've seen it, I've done it. I've never had a scratch on me. And I do believe there's a good reason why. I mean, a lot of people didn't come back from it.
You know,
Anyway,
I'm just going to go ahead and say this.
Go ahead.
I know
I'm
it
listening.
sounds weird, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. You know, science tells us that we don't know where most of our DNA comes from. So when science can tell me where my DNA comes from, I'll believe that it's not stardust. Because for right now, I believe that it's stardust. I believe that what science tells me is true. I just really feel that, you know, we're part of them just like they're part of us. I don't feel any of us are separate from anything. I feel like we're all kind of jammed into this energy field together and to acknowledge each other. I really feel, like I said before, that we're evolving. You know, we're evolving and
my intuitive abilities and my empathy
I
is
can
like
honestly
off the
say, you
chart.
know, that
I mean, off the rails. I'm so intuitive.
we're only like 3% away from being a banana. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
I know.
mean, come on. I really, really feel that we're probably all aliens, to be honest with Catholic, and I have my religious ways, and I have my contacts and spiritual contacts and things like that. However, that's not everything. I also study all of the ascended masters because they all have something to offer, and I just really feel like humanity has evolved. Just because the government isn't ready for us to know doesn't mean we don't know.
Age to study all the religions, all the spiritualities, everything that I could get my hands on. Every religion I've been in. I've been in mosque. I've been in temple. I've been in churches, cathedrals. I've been in every religion's church or temple or mosque, and I have studied all the books. And it was an obsession with me. Mahabharata. I've studied it all.
Well, maybe they're learning it through you, you know?
And
that's a good point.
It's just, now that all of this is done and over with, now it's all left up to me to figure out what am I supposed to do with all this information that I have? I have a shitload of information that I don't know what to do with. I mean, I'm telling you, people are going to be in for a shock in the next year or two.
Yeah, and
I don't know. You might want to think about doing an audiobook. You know, I mean, just skip the book, go straight to the audiobook and tell your stories. You know, I mean, honestly, I really feel that that's my part in all of this, and the ufology and the phenomenon and everything else. It's always been a part of my life, but I really feel that now, since, you know, we're all connected, basically all over the world, we're all connected. You know, I really feel that now is the time that we can all kind of come together and kind of level up, you know. There's no more waiting needed.
Contention I would want to bring it to your attention. I had a guy on Facebook today ask the question, do you have a family crest, first of all, and does it have red, blue, or green-headed phoenixes or whatever? Anyway, my son, 2 weeks ago, sent me a picture of his tattoo on his chest. He had last year joined the Masons, who did a family genealogy on our family name. They traced my family name back 1,009 years to the Viking King Eric the Red. So I told this guy on Facebook today, yes, here is a picture of my family crest. It's a single-headed reptilian with wings, eagle wings, and claws and all that. But it's a reptilian, plain as day. this guy said you definitely are connected to the Christ bloodline, is what he told me. And
well, there's your
that's just,
answer then. I mean, at least a part of your answer. You're an important part of the bigger picture here for a lot of people. Not one particular person on this earth can really show the truth to every person. So I really think it takes like every single person and their experiences, putting it out there, so we all really understand what our part is here. You know what I mean? But it really seems to me that you're fulfilling your destiny. Really, that's what it feels like to me. It really feels like you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. You can't reach everyone, so Alan, don't feel frustrated, you know, because you can only do what you can do here, you know. But I really feel like that you're a part of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Well, this is why I call into shows like this, to talk to people like you. Is it's just like you said, that one person doesn't have all the answers. So I like to talk to as many people as possible, and I like to get my story to them so they have another piece of the puzzle. You know, I really like doing this, but hey, I want to thank Brian, Gigi for the book, and Dave, I want to say hi to you and Deb, and I'm going to let you go.
Thanks, Alan.
And let you discuss it.
Thanks for calling in, Alan.
Hey,
Good
no
luck.
problem. You take care.
All right. We'll see you later, Alan.
Have a good night,
All right.
Alan.
Take care, huh?
And yeah, I'll tell you, I've had there's been a couple times where I've talked with Alan on the phone for hours at a time. That dude is filled with knowledge.
I would love for I wish he would maybe like tell stories. You know, there's some people who just tell stories, you know, on Twitter. If he would, or on YouTube, he should just get on and tell his stories, because you know, he would be surprised at how many people he shares experiences with. I was shocked. I honestly, I thought I was the only weirdo that I knew.
Oh no.
Besides my other family members, you know, I always thought I was, you know, but when I came to this community, and every day that goes by, I learned something new. I learned more experiences that people have had. It lifts me up too. And, you know, I can only hope that I do the same thing for other people. I really try.
Oh, you definitely do, Heidi, especially with your videos. And when you do these kinds of shows, it definitely just reaches out to other people who might be scared to come forward because they don't think they think maybe they're crazy or something. And, oh, here's another person who's doing the same thing. They're experiencing the same thing. And no, I think you're definitely doing a service.
Yeah, I read something recently that said 1 in 5 people have had a paranormal experience. So if that's even anywhere near true, you know, we're basically all on the same fucking page finally. You know what I mean? Where nobody has the answers. We all want the best for each other. We all want to evolve. This political situation is bullshit. We're all sick of it. You know, I really think that we're all on the kind of the edge of just reaching up. You know, we want it. We want it. We want to know now. We're not afraid now. You know, it just feels like there's just a lot of hey, well, let me give you an example. Recently on Twitter, there was a worldwide prayer time it was in the pagan community, I think. And it was to pray for Australia for it to rain. Well, so we all did it. There was some hundreds of thousands of us who did it. We all did it at the same time. And not only did it rain in Australia, it fucking flooded Australia. So
yeah,
concentrated energy is powerful, you know, and that's kind of what I've never been able to really put a name on myself, and it's energy work is what it is. It's just realizing what energy is, how to access different types of energy and how to work with it with intention. That's all anything is. That's all words are. That's all prayers are. That's all chanting is. That's all anything is. Words are powerful. They're spells. So it's really important for people to be able to have this kind of forum where they can come in and just lay it all out there and not feel like, oh my God, I'm a freak. You know what I mean? Listen, we're all fucking freaks.
Oh yeah.
We're all finally freaks, okay? It's all of us. We're all together in this now.
And speaking of all of us, so we had Mike Barr on the show last night, and one thing we talked about is how humans, if you, like astronauts, when they go up in space for long enough, after a few days or whatever, up out of the Earth's atmosphere, their circadian rhythm instinctually realigns to a 24.9 hour rhythm, which
I read about that recently, yeah.
Which is that's what it is on Mars. If we were on Mars, we would be on a 24.9 hour circadian rhythm, and that's the only moon planet in the solar system that has that specific 24.9 hour thing. So that's really fucking interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe that's where we came from. Plus,
we be Martians.
Yep.
And with all those.
Hey, listen, anything is possible. When you take science and energy and you put it together, dude, absolutely anything is possible. And we're seeing that every day with your guys' experiences, my experiences. People every day sharing their experiences. I just really wonder, I might agree with Alan on that. It might take us another good year to get a lot of the crap out of the way, to maybe like streamline this massive amounts of energy of phenomenon that is going on right now. But and maybe another year, I really feel like something huge is going to happen. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I've never seen it in my lifetime. I feel like it's something big is coming, and I don't know what it is, and I'm not like preparing, and I just do the best I can every day, but all we have is now, really.
Yeah.
But I agree with Alan. I feel like something, I don't know what, but big, something big. I don't know what it is, but it's coming, because we wouldn't all be, I don't know, experiencing all these things and all this knowledge if it leading somewhere.
So we got another call, and we should have Lisa on the phone, I believe. How's it going, Lisa? You are extremely low for some reason.
Yeah, I can't hear her at all.
I can't hear her. Hang on one second. Let me see. Maybe I have some settings I need to change. Try calling back again, Lisa.
Or maybe
a little bit more.
Let's see. What if we do here? What if we have her call the other number?
Yeah, have her call the other number. I don't know what's going on with this one. What's that number again? I believe it's 661-772-7825. I'll put it in the
that's it.
In the chat, Lisa.
Yeah, I got it right there. There you go, Lisa. Yeah, just call that other number, and we'll see if that should work for you. And just call again. Call again. Technology, live radio. You know how it goes. You know how it goes.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So Gigi, when was that? Was that a long time ago where you had all that missing time?
Yeah, that was back in 2015. 2015 in Austin.
And you haven't had something like that since then?
Before then I have, but since then, not missing time. No missing time.
What about you, Dave? How long ago was that?
What was that? We were all over at Contact in the Desert, Gigi. Was that like?
That would have been 2016.
2016.
Really? Not that long ago?
No, not too long ago.
And speaking of which, Heidi, are you going to be going to Contact in the Desert this year?
I don't know. What is that?
What is that?
Really?
How dare you?
I told y'all I'm new, man. I try to keep up with all y'all. It's hard.
Noob.
Man,
Just kidding.
okay.
Nope.
So imagine a music festival. You know, they have different stages, and at any given time, there's like 3
Yeah,
or
I've
4
been to
different bands.
EDC.
So imagine that, but instead of bands, they have different lecturers. Like Graham Hancock's giving a presentation over here, Jason Quitt's giving a presentation over there, and
Hmm.
throughout the weekend, they get anywhere from 5 to 10,000 people coming
When
through
is
that
that?
place. It's in the very end of May, beginning of June.
May, June, yeah.
Out there in Palm Springs, at Indian Wells, right there by Palm Springs. At the well, I can't remember what the hotel is called, but
Are you guys gonna go? Maybe we'll meet up.
yeah, I've been
I'm
every
definitely
year.
trying.
Yeah, we usually go to those things. I've been every year since 2015, actually. And the other one you want to go to, although you just missed it, it was a couple weeks ago, but definitely,
Conscious Life.
yeah, Conscious Life Expo at the Hilton LAX every February. That's another one you really want to check out. It's the same thing, except that one's air conditioned and it's all inside. Although the new
That's nicer.
now Contact in the Desert used to be in Joshua Tree, which had a certain magical charm to it, but now it's at this hotel, so it's like part inside, part outside. But anyway, we do have a caller here on the line, area code 858. Is that you, Lisa?
Yes, it is, but I
Oh,
hope you
much
guys
better.
can hear me this time.
Yep, we can hear you
Hi,
loud
Lisa.
and clear.
Hey, ooh, now I gotta turn down the volume. Hang on.
All right.
Okay.
Glad you made it.
Yeah. I hope that is this okay, you guys?
Yeah. Sounds
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 good.
great.
Yeah, I had to turn you guys down oddly.
Yeah.
That was odd.
Well, we
I
have
usually don't have
powerful
to do that.
voices, so
And I'm not usually accused of being too quiet, so
yeah, it might have just been a connection issue. But anyway, what's happening, Lisa? I know. So speaking of, well, is that what? Well, I'll let you take over. What were we calling in about?
well, I was calling because, well, Dave gave me the number, and I know that I've been trying to call your show, and it's been kind of rough on, like the schedule lately. So, but you remember when I talked to you last time about in 2000 when I was driving in Nevada and the time loss and like running off the road and
Yeah, I sure
like
do.
my car and a bunch of weird stuff happened.
Yeah, and we only got the short version of the story because we didn't have a lot of time there. But now that we've got some
Correct.
time here, let's hear the whole story.
Right. So, well, what had happened was in 2000, I moved back from North Carolina back to California. I know it's a long story. And it was kind of rough in the housing department, like in that time too. So I ended up taking my kids up to Montana for a little while. Meanwhile, I had to come back to San Diego for a apartment interview type thing. So I was by myself and I was driving at night, and because I had to like, make it to San Diego the next day. And I don't know if you guys know where on the map, Ely, Nevada, Ely.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I've been through Ely. Yeah.
Okay. So I had pulled over right before Ely at a truck stop just to like rest for a little while, for the next part of the trip. And that was on the 93. And I woke up and I was really energized. Everything was fine, So I'm driving on the 6 because what I was doing was taking the shortcut rather than taking the 93, which is really windy. I was going 6 west in order to go on the 318 south. And it's faster, okay, to get to Las Vegas. And I actually had a friend I was going to meet in Las Vegas in the morning before I got to San Diego. So I was timing everything, so that I'd arrive at her house by like 8 o'clock in the morning. So I was driving, it was like, I don't know, 1 or 2 in the morning, something like that. But I felt fine. And the next thing I know, I caught myself waking up at my steering wheel and I ran off the road and it scared the hell out of me. and I looked at what time it was, and I'm missing about an hour and a half of time.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no way you
And-
were asleep for an hour and a half and driving, that's for sure.
Correct. That's right. And not only that, but I was further down the 6 than where my turnoff for the 318 was. I ended up driving because I didn't know where I was, right? Because, you know, I literally lost the time. Like it just blended, like it wasn't like I was like, oh, I wonder where I was for 3.5 hours. It's like, wait, what happened? You know, like, did
Yeah.
somebody change my clock?
That's
You
exactly.
know, and why did I run off
That's
the
what
road?
Gigi said, yeah, and
That's
Dave too.
That's
Yep,
exactly
same
how
thing
with
I
me.
felt. I mean, it's almost
So-
like if you take a roll of film and you just cut out a section of it and then taped the other two parts together. Like that chunk
Exactly.
is just missing.
It's like that. Yeah. So I'm on the road, and so I'm still driving 6 West. Okay. And it didn't look familiar. Like I really was kind of going, what is going on here? And I didn't realize it until I got to the 375, which was much further down the road. And that happened to be the extraterrestrial highway. And I was kind of nervous about running out of gas
Wow,
because
so
that was
you
way
were by
out of my
yourself,
way.
right? Yeah.
So
wow.
I went down, you know, I went down the extraterrestrial highway, got to Vegas, saw my friend, and I told her what happened. She's like, holy shit, is your car okay? And I said, well, you know, I guess we should look. We both looked at my car. It looked fine. Okay. And we hung out for the day, and then I was going to San Diego. So I got in the car and I went to San Diego and did some other things, and I wasn't even looking, you know, because I was busy. I had a whole bunch of things I had to do to get ready for an interview the next morning. But I looked at my car, and the whole right side of my car was crunched up. So that
Wow.
was not visible to me or my friend, okay, in Vegas. But I got to San Diego, and it was like that. And it was like that the whole time I had my car. I had to scrap it back in 2010.
Huh.
Damn.
I don't know if I have any pictures of my car though. Like I'm thinking, I mean, I'm just trying to think, but I can't. Yeah, it's just anyway.
That's crazy because that means your car was gone too, and your car got messed with.
Oh, I think.
That-
Oh no.
That
well, I
is
didn't.
insanity.
Okay, I didn't know what happened to me for years. Okay. I worked with this guy up in Montana who's a dowser and a healer, and he does a lot of for whatever reason, he does a lot of like kind of extraterrestrial healing type stuff. And so I ended up you know, having, you know, a session with him, and yeah, he told me what happened. He said like that there's a lot of activity also in Montana. There's a lady up there in Helena, and offhand I don't remember her name, but I can find it for you guys. And she does all kinds of UFO research up there. But it turns
Nice.
out that there's a lot of like where they track families, like so that there was a feeling that he was getting that it's like, you know, he probably tracked my great grandmother, and then my grandmother, and then my mother, and then me, and then my kid, you know, like keeps going, like that kind of thing. And so it was like, it was my checkup time, you know, and they're like, oh yeah, like, you know, we're just gonna check on her right now. And he told me that they were kind of mad at me for something. Yeah, because I made it to be where they couldn't use me anymore, something like that. And I don't know what he meant or what he, you know, what it was, but that's why they were kind of angry with me when they put me back on the road, I guess, to like allow me to run off the road.
You don't
Oh,
have
nice.
any physical marks or anything?
No, just the car was like I said, the car was not well.
Very interesting.
That was it. But
It's bizarre. That
no
is
physical
bizarre.
marks. But I did have he did
Bizarre.
remove a lot of energetic boxes on me. I had a whole bunch of them on me, and I still think that there might be some, like, residual, boxes or whatever, because that's kind of how they appear to like energetic healers that I know, is that, it looks like a little, code box. And it's like in your energy field. It's not in the 3D.
Did he
It's
cut
like in the energetic
did
body.
he cut cords with you? Did he cut cords with you? Because you might want to look into that.
Oh
Find a
yeah.
Reiki
Oh yeah.
master who
Oh yeah.
does,
Like
who
he's not.
specializes in cutting
Yeah,
cords.
that's not a problem. No, there was not a problem with that. But no, I've had several clearings of and some of the things that come up are those boxes, and he actually even gave me, like, energetically, he gave me the codes and said, you might need these for other people because nobody should have this stuff on them. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, even some of the, the best mediums and psychics out there won't have anything to do with aliens. They get scared.
I know.
They get very scared of aliens. They're like,
Yeah.
That's alien. No. And I'm just like, well,
he's not afraid of them,
we're
but
aliens.
they're
So, I mean,
definitely
what's the
different. They're
separation
different
here?
to deal with than other kinds of energies. I'll just say that.
Got a quick
I don't know.
comment
Guys,
from the
I
chat.
gotta tell you something here.
Okay.
Hearing this from you guys,
Oh, yeah, because I haven't.
Tell you something that
I should go over here and look.
This is kind of maybe, but my grandma, I still have one grandma left, and she is seriously religious woman. Her entire house is a shrine to Jesus, right? Okay, so she's very, she knows the Bible back and forth, but she's been talking about revelations and what's been happening, and I can't argue with her anymore. I used to be like, let's have hope, and stuff like that, but everything's come true. So, like,
well, Heidi,
like Alan said, maybe in a year or two, maybe we will be at a point where we're ready to, take that step of evolution, so we can all kind of be a family. All of us, instead of just abducting and all of these questions that us as children are left with. Maybe we'll get some kind of understanding finally. I don't know. I hope so. I don't know,
well,
Lisa, that
to my
I
understanding,
would,
the type of beings that were doing
stay
this
on
type
top
of
of it.
thing
I would
were
stay on
kind of
top.
not doing
Just
it anymore
keep your
by
eyes open.
2010. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go ahead,
2010 was the last of the kinds of beings that were doing all of this. I think that there was some kind of an extinction, something, because what it was is that they were doing a lot of reproductive, trying to figure out how to preserve their species, and that their experiments with humans didn't work. And I understand that the last of them, it was around 2010, but they're doing other things, probably from other dimensions now.
Yeah, it's never in.
I've heard the human hybrid projects, and I believe you got people like Geraldine Orozco and Tana Newberry that talks about them. Also, another person I can't think of, but Lisa, there was a comment in the chat that was saying that maybe you might want to talk with Daryl Sims.
I don't know who is Daryl Sims. I'm not familiar with him.
He helps people with like people who are being tracked or maybe have some sort of implant or something like that, but it's mainly being tracked. If I'm not mistaken, is that right, Gigi?
Okay, well let me pendulum that. I need to see Daryl.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, I forgot about Daryl Sims, actually.
Yeah, that's going kind of way back. That's old school. Yeah, the old alien hunter.
Yeah,
that's right.
I get that I'm not being tracked anymore, and I think that the healing package that Michael gave me a long time ago, back in 2013, was probably the unhooking device, and I made sure that I did that for my children. I didn't have permission, from my mom And then one day we were talking, and I ended up like kind of getting permission from her. So then I ran it through her, but she's not, I mean, she has other things. She's not really on the, I guess, healing path. Okay. So, even if she got rid of some of the stuff that she would get new stuff to replace it, like, because that's where the vibration level is, and it's what she's comfortable with, and it's all I can do, right? But my kids, they're fine now. They're clear. And what I was going to tell Heidi was, if you do your healing, sometimes it can reverberate out to other family members, and especially to your kids. Like if you have children, like you can, it like goes right downhill to them. But
Yeah,
sometimes it goes
that's always
laterally.
been the most important thing to me, honestly, is taking care of my loved ones, and that's where all my energy
Yeah.
goes. And then
Well, but they all have free will
like I said, once I
too,
open myself
so
up to social media, I'm able to help a lot more people now, and
yeah,
it's really the most important thing, right, Lisa? You got to take
for
care
sure.
of your family, your children, and then
Yes.
do your best for the world that you live in, and put
Yeah,
as
well,
much
the
good as you
kids
can
are,
out there,
I mean,
because
the
it
kids are
is
like,
crazy. It's
they're
madness
like
out there.
in their
It's
late 20s and
madness in
early
this
30s
universe.
now,
So
so they're fine.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but the
Healing
thing is that, like you
has
were
an
talking
effect that
about, like
affects
with your
everything.
mom
That's
and
for
stuff,
sure.
I think we're having some
I
connection
think that
issues,
there's a
guys.
communication problem here, because
Yeah,
I'm
I think
talking
so.
and I don't think that anybody hears me.
I'm hearing like bits and pieces, so sorry about that, Lisa.
Okay.
But
But
yeah, as long as it's one at a time, we hear you loud and clear.
I absolutely agree with Lisa. It's once you open yourself up to a healing way, it affects absolutely everything in your whole world. You put it
Yeah.
out there in the world, it affects the world. That's energy has no bounds. So when you put that healing effect out there, it isn't just it goes everywhere. It's an
It
energy,
does,
so it just
it
goes
goes to your
everywhere. And
family. I think it
I'm
goes
really
to your
glad you brought that
family
up, Lisa,
first
because it's
because
really
of the
important
DNA,
for people who've had experiences to know that healing is an option.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm seeing here that we hear you. Okay. So I guess the people listening in YouTube can hear me.
I don't know
So
what's going on. It seems to be some kind of weird connection issue tonight, like for some reason. But
yeah.
anyways,
Well, and we are
Lisa,
talking about stuff that they don't like us talking about. I think sometimes there's interference with that too.
that could be. I've heard that
I've had
before.
some interference on my videos every once in a while. If I get too cocky and I like tag Nellis or something.
Yeah,
my
I always
video
have,
alerts
when
will
I
get
talk
green
about this
screened
kind of stuff,
out
I'm always
and all kinds of
wearing
weird
like healer's
interference, and I'm just
gold
like,
and black
okay, I was
tourmaline
just making sure you
and
were
all kinds of
listening.
stuff.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're gonna definitely kill the phones here in a minute. We're almost at the end of the 2 hours.
Well, it's nice to talk to you, Lisa. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, you guys have a good night, and Gigi and Dave, I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
All right.
Absolutely.
Sounds good,
Okay.
Lisa. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you sooner than later.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks, Lisa.
It really amazes me, like how, in the different people I meet and the experiences they've had, how positive they are. I mean, even Alan, he, you could hear in his voice that this is a lot for him to handle. But at the same time, he's a higher vibration dude. I mean, you can just, when he talks, you can just hear it in him, so I don't know, there might be something to that. I really feel that vibration and energy has a lot to do with it, like you were talking about earlier, Gigi, with the crystals being granite and things like that. These are all energy amplifiers, so if there is heavy energy going on, it's going to be amplified. And I kind of think that's where we're at this time in existence, is we're in a heightened energy field. We've created 5G. We've created Bluetooth, we've created all these things that we can't see, you know, and we really don't know what we've created. We don't know if we've ripped open holes or portals or anything like that. We just don't know what we've done because it's energy.
Pretty sure
It can't be stopped.
That's for sure.
You know?
Can I sneak in a quick question, Heidi? I want to go back to something that was interesting to me, and that was Michael Jordan asked if you're able to tell if someone is a hybrid, and if so, what types?
You know, I have met beings that are not human. And I knew it when I met them, but I could not tell you where they were from or like who their parents are or anything like that. But they're here. Sometimes you'll just come across somebody. It doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing. Sometimes you'll come across somebody and you'll be like, all right, that's not a person. I'm sorry. Right. But that is not a person. You know, the skin is too white, the eyes are too blue, they're too tall, their mouth is there's something where, you know, you get the absolute, you know, truth of it, but you don't have an explanation. Mm-hmm. That's one thing we're lacking as human beings, is we're lacking the ability to explain the things that we're experiencing, because they're new and they're just recently become socially acceptable to talk about, really, except in books and things like that. But I'm sorry, I'm just gonna keep going back to the, you know, you're about human hybrids before, just for a second. I really think that has a lot to do with it. I really think that we don't come from here, and we never did. Yeah. And you know, like I said, I'm a Catholic girl. But I don't believe people are from here. They're, you know, my dad's a paleontologist, and he told me something very interesting one time. And it was about the timeline of human history, how we're missing about 250,000 years, where we went from, you know, barely being able to make a fire to, you know, having tools and communication, and figuring out how to reproduce correctly to get, you know, better genes and like to be stronger, taller, whatever. He explained it in a way that I was just like, and there is no fossil record of that time between when we were this and then when we were civilized. There's a giant gap there that nobody can find a trace of anything that was called human. And then all of a sudden, you know, we have abilities, we have a wheel, we have an axe, we have bronze, we have, you know, all of these things that just kind of came from us just having sticks and stones, basically. And ever since he told me that, it was after he came back from some convention he was talking in Japan. It just fucking blew my mind. It kind of just made everything made sense. It's like, see what happened in that time. We were planted and we grew and here we are. It's not so hard to think about it. You know what I mean? It's not so hard. We're made of a lot of different things from a lot of different places. So we just kind of all came together right here. That's my opinion anyway. That's just feels the most truth to me. You know, as far as my videos and stuff like that, I really think we're looking at dimensional breaks, time breaks, dimensional breaks, because it can't physically be there. That's not possible. Right. It can't. I mean, some of them can physically be there, but some of them cannot physically be there, you know? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my iPad and just a separate recording device. I was talking with a friend of mine earlier about this, and set it up out there next to the cameras. So it's just a regular camera recording everything, and it's a regular audio device recording everything instead of, you know, the mics on the cameras and stuff, and just see, you know, put them all together and see if there's any differences, see if we can hear anything. Because if you listen to those videos of mine, the audio is always crazy. There's always talking, there's always chanting, there's always somebody having some serious conversations, but they're not people. They're not people having these conversations. It's very, very odd. I've switched that camera out so many times and it always does the same thing. Doesn't matter.
You might want to, Heidi, you might want to try just putting a recorder out there, like when people do for like ghost recordings, and
yeah, that's what I have. I have a little audio recorder I'm gonna just put out there and see what we can find for sure. Just different ways of, just things that are different just from the camera. You know what I mean? It's not coming from the camera, it's coming from something else, just to kind of, put it together and see if there's any differences at all. But you know what? I'll keep you guys posted. I definitely will. Thanks for having me tonight. It was fun.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. And do you want to let the audience know where they can find you on Twitter or Facebook or anywhere else?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at All Things Exist, and on YouTube at All Things Exist Nevada, and on Instagram at All Things Exist. You can find me there. As far as my coaching is concerned and my readings, I don't advertise for that anymore because I have a big client base. But I could probably do that for your guys' listeners. If you want to do a giveaway or something, I could do like a free reading and a free life plan or something like that maybe next time.
All right. Yeah, perhaps next time. And we do have, folks, if you want to check out our YouTube channel and Twitter, the links are in the video description here. So just look in there, and her Twitter and her YouTube channel is all right there. And, of course, me and Dave's links are there too, beyondthestrange.com and shifthappenspodcast.com. And Dave, you got a show coming out tomorrow. What's going on tomorrow?
Got the Bigfoot show.
All right, there you go.
Awesome.
So yeah, you guys definitely want to tune in, and that's going to be 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 7 p.m. Yeah, 10 o'clock Eastern. So definitely go to beyondstrange.com. You'll see all the links and everything. Always go to beyondstrange.com for the links. And it's going to be a great show, so you don't want to miss that.
There you go. And then, coming up this Friday, we've got the one and only Chris Dunn, who you've probably seen on Ancient Aliens and other such shows. Really excited to talk to him about the pyramids and what all kind of fuckery is going on with...
Ooh, scary.
Yeah, so that's going to be next Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific on the Fringe FM and shifthappenspodcast.com. So there you go. Now, as far as the raffle tonight, well, nobody entered, so nobody wins. And in fact, this case of coffee actually is going to go to Kat because she won those a couple weeks ago. But anyway, so with all of that, that's going to do it for episode 3 of the Midnight Blend. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the calls. We really do appreciate you. We had a good time. And make sure to go follow Heidi out there on Twitter and YouTube and all that other good stuff. And with that, we're going to bow on out of here. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody, and we'll see you later.
Good night, you guys.
Have a good one.